सामूहिक रूप से हम लोग जब उतरे तो ये सामूहिक ताकत एक ऐसी ताकत बनी जिसने दिखा दिया कि महाराष्ट्र ये मोदी जी के ही साथ है।
लोगों ने विकास का रास्ता चुना है और आज झारखंड की जनता ने हेमंत सोरेन जी को प्यार, आशीर्वाद, पूरी दुआएं दे रहे हैं और कहीं ना कहीं मैं समझते हूँ कि जनता की सरकार आने वाली है।
Good evening and welcome to Decoder. I'm Nidhi Razdan, and what a day it has been. Yes, the JMM Congress has had a terrific win in Jharkhand, but the story today is from Maharashtra, where it has been a resounding victory for the Mahayuti, the BJP, Shinde Sena, Ajit Pawar alliance, with the BJP with a strike rate of more than 80%, 235 seats out of the 288 going to the Mahayuti alliance there. That really is the big story today. Joining us now, Prannoy Roy, Dorab Supariwala, Srinivasan Jain, Manisha Priyam and Shivam Vij to take us through what these results mean, not just for Maharashtra and Jharkhand, but nationally as well. Prannoy.
Yeah, one of the key things is how important this is in turning around the mood of the Lok Sabha elections. It's a complete change. Haryana was a start. But just look at a quick summary of the results. These are almost final. There's still some being counted. But this is what it looks like. BJP, Shiv Sena and NCP, Ajit Pawar, 235. That is just phenomenal. The Congress, UBT, Shiv Sena, 49. I mean, that difference is almost 500%. Dorab, have you seen anything like this?
Not in Maharashtra. No way. I mean,
anywhere in the world?
no, I'm sure it has somewhere in the
No, but
world.
it really is absolutely remarkable. And I do want to say one thing. Nobody saw this. But this morning, 3 times, as we left home, walked here, got into the studio, Radhika said it's going to be a sweep for BJP. I said, how do you know sweep? Because they were saying Mengai said, watch, it's going to be a sweep.
She was right.
Yeah,
But you know,
35 is a sweep of sweeps.
what's really incredible is that when you look at the breakup of the parties, Ajit Pawar has done phenomenally well after walking away with the majority of
Just
MLAs.
one sec, we just look at a summary of Jharkhand also. Here again, a pretty decisive victory for JMM and Congress, and mainly JMM. That's the force behind this whole thing. Hemant Soren and his wife Kalpana Soren have really run an amazing campaign, up from 2019 Assembly as well as way up from 2024 Lok Sabha. More than double BJP and AJSU. But these are the seats. We can look at the votes, which is actually the figures that come in later, and look at that. Almost 50% for BJP, Shiv Sena, NCP, 49% compared to 43%, up 7% swing since the Lok Sabha. And look at the decline of Congress and Shiv Sena, UBT and Sharad Pawar. 35, that's the MVA, 35%, that's 14% margin. Again, that's a huge margin.
No one can survive this kind of difference.
Yeah.
No party can survive.
Nobody. And you know, even you're looking ahead whether they'll be able to bounce back at all.
They have lost even 2 percentage point to others, not just to BJP. They have lost 2 percentage point to others, and 2% is huge. You know,
Yeah.
No, but you're
Exactly.
comparing since Lok Sabha, when others are really weak.
Yeah, but
Not
still,
because- But still, they've lost to everybody who's available to take any votes
Now
from them.
Jharkhand leads. If you look at the vote percentages, JMM plus Congress 44 and BJP plus AGU 38. That 6% difference is a lot. And look, 2019 Assembly up 8%, if you're looking at the top row, and up 5% from just recently the Lok Sabha. So 6 months is a long time. And this is Hemant Soren and Kalpana Soren. And we are hoping to talk to Hemant Soren and congratulate him because he ran a really, really energetic campaign along with his wife. BJP age 38, 6% margin. I think is Mr. Hemant Soren there? Can you hear me, sir? Oh, so good to see you. I saw you last in your campaign. Congratulations, congratulations. It's a phenomenal achievement, phenomenal. And you really worked hard. Give me one thing that you think really worked for you.
I think we just lost that connection. All right, we're going to try and get back to...
We can hear you.
Okay, so just one thing that worked best for you in terms of crowd reaction and it would have affected the vote. One big thing.
Big thing यही होगा कि in Jharkhand our people is convinced with us. हमारे लोग हमारे बात सुनते हैं. अब राय साहब आपको पता है कि दिस स्टेट इज थोड़ा सा इसका हिस्ट्री बैकग्राउंड हिस्ट्री बहुत टिपिकल है बिकॉज ये स्टेट वॉरियरों से भरा पड़ा है और ये स्टेट अपने वॉरियर्स को बहुत मतलब क्लोजली वॉच करते हैं और उनके साथ रहते हैं. और आपको पता है हमारे शिबू सोरेन जी हों या इस राज्य में हमारे जो बिरसा मुंडा जी हों, सिद्धू कान्हू जी लोग हैं, सब एक टाइप के लोग हैं और इन सब लोगों के साथ झारखंड के लोग ऑलवेज खड़े रहे. और आपको पता है कि इन लोगों ने तो मुझे जेल में डाला और आपको पता है जेल में तो डाला इन लोगों ने हेमंत सोरेन को, लेकिन जब मैं जेल में बाहर आया तो लोग कहने लगे कि यू आर लुकिंग शिबू सोरेन लाइक. तो लोग रिजेंबल करते हैं कि एक इतना फाइट करने वाला, संघर्ष करने वाला को क्यों परेशान किया जाता है. लोकसभा का एक छोटा सा ट्रेल आपने देखा होगा कि हमारे ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज ने कितनी मजबूती से अपने आप को कंसुलेट कर रखा था और उसमें मैं जेल में ही था. अनफॉर्चुनेटली मैडम उसमें कल्पना जी आ गई थी, उन्होंने चीज़ों को संभाला. नाउ इस बार हम लोग 2 थे और बहुत स्ट्रांगली जो हमारे अपोनेंट जो टीम थी उनको हम लोगों ने स्ट्रांग मैसेज दिया और जो भी इन लोगों ने नैरेटिव्स एस्टेब्लिश किया उन सभी नैरेटिव्स का विथ प्रूफ हम लोगों ने राज्य की जनता को बताया. तो वो कन्विंस हुए कि नहीं, ना डेमोग्राफी का कोई सब्जेक्ट है यहाँ, ना हिंदू मुस्लिम का कोई सब्जेक्ट है. सभी चीजें बिल्कुल ये लोग एक आर्टिफिशियल एटमॉस्फेयर क्रिएट करते हैं लोगों को पोलराइज करने के लिए. तो ये पोलराइजेशन को हम लोगों ने बहुत स्ट्रांगली हैंडल किया और कहीं पोलराइज नहीं होने दिया और रिजल्ट आप लोगों के सामने है.
हेमंत जी, मैं ये इसी पोलराइजेशन पे आपसे पूछना चाहती थी क्योंकि बीजेपी ने हिमांता बिस्वा शर्मा हैं असम के मुख्यमंत्री, उन्होंने इस कैंपेन का चार्ज लिया था बीजेपी की तरफ से और जैसे आपने कहा बहुत पोलराइज करने की कोशिश करी. लेकिन ऐसा आपको क्या लगता है ऐसा क्यों हुआ कि पोलराइजेशन नहीं हुआ? क्योंकि झारखंड में तो बहुत डिसाइसिव विक्ट्री है आपकी, बहुत बड़ी विक्ट्री है और इसका रीज़न क्या है कि जहां कई और स्टेट्स में हम कभी कभी देखते हैं कि पोलराइजेशन काम करती है, हिंदुत्व का इफेक्ट आता है, झारखंड में ऐसा क्यों नहीं हुआ?
नहीं देखिए आता है लोग, नो डाउट बीजेपी बहुत उसके पास जो मैकेनिज्म है, उसके पास जो प्रोपागेंडा टीम है, वो बहुत ज्यादा एग्रेसिव रहता है। बट आज के दिन में बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो मैसेज जहाँ सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू आज पूरे देश में चलता है और लोग उसको देखते हैं, और इन चीजों को लोग कंपेयर भी करते हैं। हेमंत जी यहाँ आए, ये फर्स्ट टाइम है कि एक सीएम दूसरे सीएम के टेरिटरी में जा करके ऐसे बयान देते हैं इलेक्शन के पहले, कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट से पहले से लेके मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट लगने तक। ये वैसा मुझे नहीं लगता है किसी सीएम को किसी दूसरे के टेरिटरी में जाकर के कुछ ऐसी बातें कहनी चाहिए। ये मुझे लगता है एक ये भी ठीक नहीं है, एक इस डेमोक्रेसी ये में सही नहीं है।
Right.
छोड़
सर
कोई
जी,
और पॉलिटिकल ये बात कहे तो अच्छा लगता है, बट सीएम ये सूट नहीं करता है। लेकिन मुझे जहां तक याद है कि हेमंता साहब की ही स्टेट एक ऐसा है जहाँ एक स्टेट की पुलिस फोर्स दूसरे स्टेट की पुलिस फोर्स से उनकी फाइटिंग हुई थी, बहुत जबरदस्त। एक दूसरे पर उन लोगों ने, लगता है भारत पाकिस्तान या कोई इंटर बॉर्डर कंट्री में होता हो, ऐसा हुआ था। तो ये लोग इलेक्शन ये में 24 आवर्स रहते हैं, और इनको किसी भी तरीके से उनको उस स्टेट को अपने ये में लेना है, तो उसके लिए जितना बिलो द बेल्ट ये जा सके। और इसमें मैं मुझे लगता है कि इनकी एक पूरी स्ट्रेटजिकली ये बीजेपी की चलती है कि हम कितने नीचे तक भी जाए, कोई इनको उसमें गुरेज नहीं है, ना इसको कोई आपत्ति है।
Hemant
तो
Soren ji, sorry.
लोग काम में जो
Sorry, I just wanted to congratulate Kalpana Sorenji also, who helped you, your right-hand person in the whole campaign. Now she's won. Will she be part of the government and help you with your work? Because you have a lot of work ahead of you, right? To for the people of
Let's see.
Jharkhand.
लेट्स सी, बहुत सारे फील्ड हैं सरकार बनने के बाद, बहुत सारे। ये कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि कोई मंत्री बने तभी लोगों के लिए काम होगा, लोगों के लिए काम होता है।
Right.
और लोगों का सजेशन भी होता है, बहुत सारे लोग सजेस्ट करते हैं, टीम रहती है, काम करते हैं उसके साथ। सो ये वो तो फिर चलेगा कि उनको हम कहाँ कैसे आगे।
I must say a lot of people were saying that she had a huge impact. She really, I'm just talking about ordinary voters, were very, very praiseworthy of you and her, actually, both. Deadly combination.
नो डाउट, मैं तो कहूंगा कि मेरे से अधिक उनका इम्पैक्ट इसमें रहा है। और उन्होंने जो, और हम लोग के जो फ्लैगशिप प्रोग्राम्स थे, जो सोशल सिक्योरिटी साइड के जो प्रोग्राम्स थे, उनका जो डिलीवरी था, और खास तौर पर फीमेल वोटर के अंदर जो इनका एक पेनिट्रेशन था, बहुत स्ट्रांगली था।
Right.
और समहाउ आउटपुट भी बिल्कुल उसी के तरफ दिखता है। सो नो डाउट कि कल्पना जी आई, और कल्पना जी ने
So she will be a minister. She will be a minister. I want a headline.
वो इन फ्यूचर में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, पहले तो गवर्नमेंट फॉर्म कर ले।
Yeah.
अब मौका जिसको मिलेगा, जैसा मिलेगा वैसा हम करेंगे।
जी हाँ, करेक्ट।
हेमंत जी, श्रीनिवासन जैन बोल रहा हूँ। मेरी तरफ से भी आपको बहुत बधाई। मेरा एक सवाल था कि आपका परफॉर्मेंस देखें तो जेएमएम की बात कर रहा हूँ, बहुत अच्छा था। आपका स्ट्राइक रेट करीब 70% था। कांग्रेस का देखा जाए तो स्ट्राइक रेट 46% था, 50% से भी कम। ये हम सिर्फ झारखंड में नहीं, कई प्रदेशों में देखते हैं कि कांग्रेस एक तरह से अंडर परफॉर्म करती है। क्या आपको लगता है कि एक थोड़ी सी चिंताजनक बात है कि जो मेन एलाय है कांग्रेस, जो मेन नेशनल पार्टी है, दैट इज ऑलवेज अंडर परफॉर्मिंग?
देखिए, इनको हम लोगों ने अलायंस में, बिकॉज ये कोई वोट में कोई बिखराव ना हो। और जैसे बीजेपी ने इस बार किया था कि अपने पूरे अलायंस पार्टनर को कंसोलिडेट करके इस चुनाव में ये लोग उनकी उपस्थिति थी, तो हम लोगों ने भी अपने आप को कंसोलिडेट करके ये फाइट किया है। और जो कैंडिडेट्स थे, जो टीम थी, उन लोगों ने जितना एफर्ट था वो तो रिजल्ट आपके सामने है। मुझे लगता है कि थोड़ा सा और बेहतर हो सकता था।
Okay.
That was,
Hemant Soren ji, thank you very, very much. I know how busy you are, and it is great to see you. And thank you for taking time and speaking to us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
it's actually nice to see a chief minister in his hoodie, relaxing, chilling after a day of, yeah, quite chilled out.
Great photographer, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just kept it myself.
Like
but,
Uddhav Thackeray also. Yeah.
Some photographers do well elections, some don't.
We also have senior journalist Vandita Mishra and Smriti Kopikar also joining us again this evening. Thank you very much to both of you for being with us. Vandita Mishra, just wanted to get your first thoughts on Maharashtra, which I don't think anyone really predicted, this kind of a landslide win for the Mahayuti. Is it now clear that Devendra Fadnavis will be the chief minister?
You don't know with the BJP. So it could pull a chief minister out of the hat at the last minute. But yeah, at the moment it does look likely that Devendra Fadnavis will be the chief minister. And the BJP's success in Maharashtra is not just another state. They have won a state which is not a traditional bastion. So it's a very, very significant victory. In fact, if you look at Haryana, Maharashtra, both are states that are not traditionally BJP.
Right.
And in fact,
Sorry.
it's remarkable that the BJP on its own is at 133.
Yes.
Out of 148 seats they fought, they're at 133. That's an almost 90% strike rate.
Almost a majority on their own. 144 is a majority, they're 133.
They're just about 10 dozen seats away, so they actually technically
But you
don't
had-
necessarily need
You forecast it when you went around. You got that feel, na? The sweep.
straight away. And I wrote it on a chit and it's in your pocket. But you lost it.
I better not show what you
Show what
really
you
wrote.
actually written.
मैं कहना कांटे की
they
टक्कर.
defeated all their allies also.
Sorry?
They defeated all their allies
We
also.
just sorry, we also have Daniel Francis. He's a political strategist. He's been working with Eknath Shinde in Maharashtra. Daniel is joining us. Daniel, great to see you again after a long time. Mr. Girish Kuber from Lok Satta is here with us this evening. Mr. Kuber, I made sure I got it right this time. Thank you again for joining us.
Daniel, I have one major complaint. You made us do an interview at 3 in the morning and then you stayed on even after that. I mean, you set a very bad example how hard you work. It's not right.
I gave him the first chance.
Yes, you gave us the first one.
3 in the morning.
3, we were saying.
Ours was 2 in the morning. Theirs was 3 in the morning. The same thing. There were 5 other people waiting after us.
Well, so Daniel, just
Thank you very much for that, though. Yeah. Sorry.
Just your first thoughts on this result. The Shinde Sena has done much better than the UBT faction of the Shiv Sena. But is it now apparently quite clear to the Shinde camp that it would be a BJP chief minister with the numbers that the BJP has?
The Shinde camp is not, ready to go with that view at this stage at least, because the Shinde camp thinks that it was Mr. Eknath Shinde who turned the tide for Mahayuti in Maharashtra. From what happened in the Lok Sabha till now, it is he who led a very formidable campaign and went to the people directly, launched the welfare schemes associated with the people at the bottom of the pyramid, and build a whole public campaign around the policies and programs of the government. He's also an incumbent under whose leadership this election was fought. And the Shinde camp hopes that the Mahayuti agrees on Mr. Shinde to lead them in the
Daniel,
next.
when you took this assignment on to work with him and to help him win the election, after a pretty bad defeat in the Lok Sabha, what's step by step, what did you do and what did you convince him of?
See, most importantly, I took this assignment much earlier, Dr. Roy.
Yes.
That time, the whole Gaddar and the Khoke and the money and the power and the muscle assignment was, the challenge was at hand. And what we agreed upon was Mr. Shinde, who is a very smart and hardworking man. He said that for some time we have to forget the criticism and rather focus on giving an answer to our criticism by our work. So we started working on policies and programs that we can undertake and directly benefit the people. So the conceptualizing of schemes like Ladli Behna started a year and a half ago.
Was that the most
timing was
important
chosen.
thing? Was that the most important turning point for this election? Ladli Behn?
Ladli
1500?
Behna is the most important turning point.
Okay.
I will also tell you that we have around 6.5 crore beneficiaries, not just women at around 2.5 crores, but there are farmers, there are other Shasan Apladari schemes where government goes at your doorstep, and many other schemes that we have, around 45 of them, and we have a data of 6.5. The only thing that I credit in this election is the delivery that the government focused on, and the Chief Minister personally going and delivering these schemes to the people. He first traveled the state for Shasan Apladari, which is a scheme that brings all beneficiaries, farmers and small and medium enterprises, women and self-help groups under one roof.
But
So 70,000 to 1 lakh beneficiaries in one roof in all
Daniel,
districts.
even with all this, tell me, there were polls done internal, but did you expect anything like this? This 235? Frankly?
I didn't expect this landslide, but today my faith in reaching the beneficiary and voter directly is stronger than what it was yesterday. I predicted around 180 when I gave a public statement that we predicted around 180. I didn't know, but also please understand that how badly our opponents have messed up. Every day for last 2 months we have seen Mr. Raut and Nana Patole fighting the Congress and no strategy in place. And it's a very interesting thing, I tell you. Congress, Rahul Gandhi was concentrating in Wayanad. Mr. Uddhav Thackeray was concentrating in Worli. Mr. Sharad Pawar was concentrating in Baramati, and then ignored what's happening around them. And they let the people down.
So you have helped a lot by your opposition. Chalo.
But Daniel Francis, just coming back to this point about the chief ministership for a moment. I mean, if you just look at the numbers, of course, the BJP contested far more seats, and therefore it has a larger number of seats. But it also has an incredible strike rate of some 82-83%. And if you are a BJP leader today in Maharashtra or a Karyakarta, I think for them, the most obvious choice would be to go with Mr. Fadnavis, given just the scale of their victory. Exactly. They're actually only like 10 seats away from forming the government on their own. They're not as dependent on you as they perhaps would have been if the scenario was different. So how do you think they'll come around to this view about letting Mr. Shinde have another term?
I see your point of view. But if not for Mr. Shinde, this day would not have been imagined. Nobody can imagine this day. If not for Mr. Shinde, the Mahavikas Agadi would have been a very formidable alliance. If not for Mr. Shinde, perhaps the results that Mahavikas Agadi had in 2024 Lok Sabha would have been much better. Maybe Mahavikas Agadi would have come back to power in 2024. So Mr. Shinde, what he could do to save his party and to save Mahayuti and the NDA, larger NDA family is a massive sacrifice and a massive job that he's done for them.
When is the meeting to decide the chief minister? When are the three parties meeting? Tomorrow?
The three parties, there is no discussion on that, but tomorrow Rajnath Singh ji he is expected to come to Mumbai and hold talks with Mr. Shinde and other allies.
Is 50-50 a possibility, Daniel?
2 years, 2.5 years, 2.5 years.
So that I will just tell you one thing, that the Shiv Sena has not given up on their claim for the leadership of the state.
Right.
Interesting.
That's interesting. I mean, coming from someone who's a strategist, with all respect, Daniel and the entire team at Showtime,
Congratulations.
who run this.
Congratulations
to
on
them,
what
but,
you've done. Yeah.
But I mean, the official Shiv Sena line might be slightly less
No,
candid about this. So,
yeah, no, not candid. That officially also we've said, our spokespersons are also saying on television channels that we still hope that Mr. Shinde becomes the chief minister. And most importantly, for the contribution that he has made to Mahayuti, from forming this government to changing the narrative, to building a narrative and a vote base and a beneficiary base that is so huge. We're not writing off BJP or any other partner who have done well.
Sure.
I think it's a united effort. Imagine that today we would have lost the election. Everybody would have blamed Mr. Shinde, right? That because of Shinde, we lost.
Just thanks very much, and congratulations. It was an amazing campaign. Manisha, there is an element of truth in what he's saying, that all the projects he did, the policies he did, especially coming straight after the debacle in the Lok Sabha, that was Mr. Shinde's. So do you feel he deserves it, but will he get it?
Since you just advised that we should be learning the alphabets, I'm just looking at this verdict as two things. That Maharashtra voted decisively, no doubt, and got the BJP as a political party, so the party system is alive. They've also elected a political leader as a chief minister. So 2 elections in one, and the electorate has just said, repose your trust in the BJP as a political party, but when to pick our chief minister, it's still the Shiv Sena that matters for us. And I think this is the truth that I see.
So you think he deserves to be chief minister? I think the question was, do you think he will be?
I'm deriving only from what he asserts, because he believes that, we got the leader right. So if you see what's coming out from his statements is, we got the leader right. And what I need to understand is that schemes that are neutral in their characterization, they are being targeted to women, they are meant to basically protect households, income risk stability type of schemes.
What do you
now
feel?
on that governance packet, one second, on that governance packet, is there a face that matters? He clearly seems to say that
I
had it
believe
not
the
been
Prime
for
Minister is speaking at the BJP headquarters just now. We're just going to cut across to that for a bit.
हमारी एक सीट और बढ़ गई है. यूपी, उत्तराखंड और राजस्थान ने भाजपा को जमकर समर्थन दिया है. असम के लोगों ने भाजपा पर फिर एक बार भरोसा जताया है. मध्य प्रदेश में भी हमें सफलता मिली है. बिहार में भी एनडीए का समर्थन बढ़ा है. ये दिखाता है कि देश अब सिर्फ और सिर्फ विकास चाहता है. मैं महाराष्ट्र के मतदाताओं का, हमारे युवाओं का, विशेषकर माताओं बहनों का, हमारे किसान भाई बहनों का, देश की जनता का आदरपूर्वक नमन करता हूं. साथियों, मैं झारखंड की जनता को भी नमन करता हूं. झारखंड के तेज विकास के लिए हम अब और ज्यादा मेहनत से काम करेंगे और इसमें भाजपा का एक एक कार्यकर्ता अपना हर प्रयास करेगा. साथियों, छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराजांच्या महाराष्ट्राने आज दाखवून दिले तुष्टीकरणाचा सामना कसा करायचा. छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराज, शाहूजी महाराज, महात्मा फुले, सावित्रीबाई फुले, बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर, वीर सावरकर, बाळासाहेब ठाकरे, ऐसे महान व्यक्तित्वों की धरती ने इस बार पुराने सारे रिकॉर्ड तोड़ दिए. और साथियों, बीते 50 साल में किसी भी पार्टी या किसी भी प्री पोल अलायंस के लिए ये सबसे बड़ी जीत है 50 साल के बाद. और एक महत्वपूर्ण बात मैं बताता हूं. ये लगातार तीसरी बार है जब भाजपा के नेतृत्व में किसी गठबंधन को लगातार महाराष्ट्र ने आशीर्वाद दिए हैं, विजयी बनाया है.
Prime Minister Modi there, his first reaction to the huge victory of the BJP Mahayuti alliance in Maharashtra, talking about the Jharkhand victory of the JMM Congress as well. You can see that full speech of Mr. Modi on our website decoder.com. We also did see a tweet from Rahul Gandhi earlier today where he just described Maharashtra as an unexpected result, which that they would go into in some detail. Girish Kuber,
introspection.
I don't think he used that word yet. That will probably come next.
Or a committee.
But we have Nana Patole joining us now, the State Congress Chief from Maharashtra. Nana Patole ji, ये बताइए कि क्या हुआ महाराष्ट्र में?
Simple question, क्या हुआ?
हमारे लिए अनपेक्षित ये रिजल्ट है और जितना भी एग्जिट पोल आ रही थी उसमें भी इतना सुनामी आ जाएगी बीजेपी की, नरेंद्र मोदी का बहुत बड़ा जादू चल जाएगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं लग रहा था. लेकिन जो हुआ है अब आपके सामने है और इसका थोड़ा हम आत्मचिंतन भी करेंगे और इसके पीछे कौन छुपा है. ये व्यवस्था के जो लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था को खत्म करना चाहता है, इसके बारे में भी हम थोड़ा चिंतन करेंगे और जनता की लड़ाई हम लड़ते रहेंगे.
Patole, you were with the BJP. Are you regretting having switched and will you go back? थोड़ा चांस है.
अब उसको तो हम बताएंगे, हमने डिसाइड कर लिया है.
अच्छा.
वो पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या आप वापस बीजेपी तो नहीं जाने की सोच रहे हैं?
नहीं, बीजेपी क्या जाएंगे, बीजेपी को ही हम महाराष्ट्र से हटा देंगे.
अच्छा.
लेकिन नाना पटोले जी, एक्चुअली अगर आप कांग्रेस का हाल देखें महाराष्ट्र में, अभी 16 सीटें आई हैं कांग्रेस की. बहुत ही बुरा हाल है महाराष्ट्र में. और इससे पहले हरियाणा में, झारखंड में जेएमएम ने बहुत अच्छा किया है, कांग्रेस ने जितना पिछली बार किया था उतना ही किया है. जम्मू कश्मीर में कांग्रेस ने अच्छा नहीं किया. आपको चिंता है पार्टी की तरफ से कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है बार बार कांग्रेस के साथ?
देखो, उतार चढ़ाव हर के जीवन में होता है. डॉक्टर प्रणव राव भी हमारे लिए एक, राय जी हमारे लिए भी एक बड़ा उदाहरण है. वो कहाँ थे, उनको ये सरकार ने कहाँ लाके रखा है. तो जीवन में उतार चढ़ाव रहता है।
मतलब
आज प्रणव राय यहाँ है, कल और प्रणव राय यहाँ से बड़े हो सकते हैं। वैसे हम भी वही बात सोचते हैं कि हम भी बड़े हो जाएंगे, तो क्या आदमी हम हमारे में मेहनत करने की क्षमता और जनता हमारे तरफ है। और जो भी कारण होगा उस कारण को हम लोग ढूंढेंगे और जो भी लैकुना हो उससे बाहर बाहर आएंगे और हम सत्ता में आएंगे। महाराष्ट्र में कांग्रेस ये सत्ता में आएंगी।
नाना पटोले जी, मैं आपसे ये पूछा था कि आप कांग्रेस के स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट थे इस इलेक्शन के दौरान, कहीं ना कहीं आप खुद कोई जिम्मेदारी लेते हैं इतनी बड़ी हार की?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, क्यों नहीं जिम्मेदारी, जीतने की जिम्मेदारी मैंने लिया था पार्लियामेंट में, तो हारने की भी जिम्मेदारी मुझे लेना ही पड़ेगा।
बट क्या आपने अभी तक एक वजह नहीं बताई कि इतनी बुरी तरह से हार गए?
वो तो आपको भी पता है इतनी बुरी तरह से क्यों हारे, कैसे हारे गए, कैसे टारगेट किया गया, वो आपको भी है। आप बोलते क्यों नहीं?
नहीं, आप किसका जिक्र कर रहे हैं? क्या किसकी बात कर रहे हैं?
अब जो चल रहा है देश में ये तुमको भी नहीं छुपा है, हमको भी नहीं छुपा है। और जितना हमारी जरूरत है उतना लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था में चौथा स्तंभ की भी जरूरत है। हम लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था को कैसे बचाए, और इसका हम एक बैठ के एक सोच बनाना पड़ेगा और हमको लड़ाई करना
ईवीएम
पड़ेगा।
की बात कर रहे हैं आप? ईवीएम की आप कह रहे हैं कि ईवीएम्स में कुछ गड़बड़ है क्या? आप उसकी तरफ इशारा कर रहे हैं?
नहीं, मैंने ईवीएम का नाम नहीं लिया। आपने क्यों लिया?
नहीं, क्योंकि आप लोकतंत्र की बात कर रहे हैं ना। आप कारण बताइए ना कि क्या जो लड़की बहन योजना स्कीम है सरकार की, क्या वो उसकी वजह से आपको लगता है कि
आप में से कई लोग महाराष्ट्र के इस भूमि पे आए थे, लोगों से बात की थी, आम लोगों को भी आप लोग मिले और आपको भी अंदाज आ रहा था कि इस बार सत्ता परिवर्तन है। ये सरकार के बारे में लोगों में गुस्सा था, ये तो बात स्वाभाविक था। लाडली बहन योजना क्या है, वो क्या अभी तो पता लगेगा आगे आगे और क्या है। तो मेरा ये कहना है कि जब अंदाज आपको भी था इस बार सत्ता परिवर्तन है, लेकिन ये इस तरह के सुनामी आकर बीजेपी बहुत अच्छा काम किया, उनके अलायंस ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया, तो इतना बड़ा चेंज आ गया, तो ऐसा तो नहीं है। कुछ ना कुछ दाल में काला है, लेकिन मैंने मशीन का नाम नहीं लिया।
तो और क्या काला हो सकता है?
देखेंगे हम उसका आत्मचिंतन करेंगे। आप भी करिए, आप भी थोड़ा ढूंढिए क्या बात है।
हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि आप हार गए, हम क्यों उसका करें आत्मचिंतन?
लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था में हमारी सबकी है।
Thank you, Nana Patole ji. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have let me just go across to our guests from Maharashtra. Girish Kuber, Vandita Mishra, Smriti Kopikar, patiently waiting. Girish Kuber, we've had a couple of interesting interviews there. You heard one, the strategist working with the Eknath Shinde camp saying that, well, they want him to be chief minister. They're not going to give that up. And you just heard the state Congress chief basically saying, there's some kind of conspiracy behind why the Congress and that alliance has done so badly. So I just wanted your first reaction to both.
No, first I would like to talk about Nana Patole. Right. That's actually the reason, the way Congress leadership behaved. No ear to the ground. It was very clear right from day one that Constitution showcasing the Samvidhan Badal Raha, that wasn't working. It kept on insisting on the same issue. Number two is its public argument feud with Shiv Sena over the likely chief minister. I mean, when you have no idea how many seats you are going to contest and you fight publicly a chief minister's face, that was ridiculous for Congress to do. And coming back to Shinde, actually what the strategist was saying is correct. And now, for BJP, it is problem of plenty. BJP itself never expected to cross some 100. Right. And now, the issue is RSS. RSS came out openly in support of the BJP, expecting that it will be BJP chief minister. Now, it can't change that kind of a atmosphere RSS created for the BJP. But also, the BMC and Pune election, I mean, there are 20 municipal corporations that will be going to polls. So for that, it will have to have Eknath Shinde and Ajit Pawar on their side to complete operation of wiping out opposition from the Maharashtra political landscape. So it will be interesting to see what BJP
Girish,
chooses.
just
How there is a pressure from.
Girish, one of the things, it was really been great working with you and hearing all your insights. It's really in depth. And one of the things you mentioned earlier on a couple of occasions is that the RSS was deeply involved in this election, and Mr. Gadkari and the RSS are really very close. So is this a victory of the RSS and Mr. Gadkari?
It's 100% it's RSS. The credit should go Ladli Behna as well as the caste and social engineering RSS did for the BJP. That's huge. That's what one recorded.
Gadkari and Vidarbh. You had mentioned that also when we, huge impact, right?
RSS, Gadkari and Devendra Fadnavis, they are completely in tandem, completely in sync with each other, and they were working together. And they had brought in another leader, Atul Kelkar, number 3 in the RSS hierarchy. He was brought in only for the BJP operation. You know, I mean, he was so close to Mr. Fadnavis. So he used to attend meetings, you know, and that is something RSS did for the first time, so openly.
Smriti Kopekar, just looking for a moment at, the different factions of the Sena, the fact that Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar have, really taken quite a hammering in this election. What, does that hold for them politically now, in the near future, you think?
Very difficult to say, but what has been settled, I think for sure today, is that who is the true political legatee of Mr. Bal Thackeray? I think that question, which was hanging fire for about 2 years now, that question certainly seems to have been settled today in Mr. Eknath Shinde's favor. There are a few sparks of hope for the Shiv Sena and Mr. Pawar's NCP. Rohit Pawar has won, Aditya Thackeray has won, Varun Sardesai has won. So there are these newcomers in the legislature. They will be bloodied. They will go through the paces. They will emerge hopefully as leaders of their own. I don't see Mr. Uddhav Thackeray really getting up from this point and rebuilding the Shiv Sena in whatever vision that he holds for it. I think the mantle will now fall on Aditya and the next, his contemporaries and that generation. With Mr. Sharad Pawar, it's harder to say, and as everybody on this panel would attest, I think even Mr. Pawar is quite unsure of what he himself is going to do the next morning. But I would say that it's difficult to keep a fighter like Mr. Pawar down. He is down and out for sure today. In terms of vote percentage, in terms of his calculations of seats and all of it. But let's not forget that in 2014, Mr. Pawar was the first leader to reach out to the BJP when it had broken up with the Shiv Sena.
I just wanted your views on the kind of victory this has been for the BJP. If we look at, Vandita, if we look at the regional swings and just have a quick look at how the BJP and the Shiv Sena alliance has done in different parts of Maharashtra. This is what it looks like. If we can put up the graphic with the map, it would be great to see. So look at that. It did the best. The highest positive swing was in Marathwada and in Vidarbha. The first and third. Marathwada, North and Vidarbha, more than 7% swing, but 11% in Marathwada. In the West, 5.6, Konkan, a 5% positive swing, and in Mumbai, hardly any swing. So overall, an average of 6.2, but most unlikely areas had the highest swings.
But it's interesting because those are also areas where the BJP had done very badly, or the alliance had done very badly
in the Lok Sabha election.
in the Lok Sabha, so there was a low base.
Yeah,
and so
correct.
that's why the swing is much more. In Mumbai,
Yeah.
They are becoming very.
in Mumbai they've actually done very well.
Would you like to just, sorry, Vandita Mishra, to come in on that swing in these regions, Marathwada and Vidarbha in particular?
Yeah, so I had actually traveled in Vidarbha, and what seemed very visible to me was that there was a lot of voter disaffection with parties in general. But I think what the BJP also did was it saw this and it mounted a counter mobilization. So the counter mobilization was through, Ladki Behna Yojana. It was also through communal polarization, slogans like "Ek hai to safe hai" and "Batenge to katenge." And it was the counter mobilization. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, when you travel in Maharashtra, you hear over and over again that this is the state of Phule, Ambedkar, and Gandhi, and that this is not true. That, there are limits to communal polarization, but I think that has become formulaic. I don't think it goes deeper anymore, and I think there is communal polarization below the surface. In fact, very visible on the surface too.
Right.
And I think what the BJP did was to counter the fragmentation that it could see among the voters.
Okay. We just want to, there is a second state also that went to the polls, and we just want to see the swings of the JMM in Jharkhand. Shivam, if you can, match the two and explain how these differences are. Just have a look at what happened in Jharkhand. Now look at that, the highest swing, Dhanbad, North Chota Nagpur, which is SC areas really. Santal Pargana, a strong scheduled tribal area, +6. South Chota Nagpur, also tribal. But Kolhan, 0.3%. So the biggest was in Dhanbad. It's the variety across different regions is amazing.
Prannoy, the first two regions are actually strong BJP regions. And that's where they've got the swing.
But they got the support of the left.
No, but that is also why I think the Maiya Samman Yojana giving, because that's a scheme that gives money to women, not just tribals, but also the non-tribal, the general population, poor women, right? So that has been a game changer, because this is quite unusual for a non-BJP party in a second successive election to increase their vote share and seat share is quite unusual. So the JMM achievement here is quite something.
Right. Let's, if we can go and can I go back to you, Vandita, and just to talk about the men and women issue and the Ladli Behan impact. If you just look at the turnout, look at the graphics on the turnout. So far, up till in fact the last election, women hardly were well behind men in terms of turnout percentage. That changed in this election. If you look at that, earlier on, men were about 11% behind, ahead of women in turnout. Women 11% less if you're going right back 25 years. But now, almost the same. Most states in India, women turnout is higher than men. It was completely the opposite in Maharashtra until 6 months ago, but now they're almost neck and neck. So there's a huge increase of about 6% increase in turnout of women since the 2019 assembly and now. And if you look at, contrast this with Jharkhand, and you can see the difference in women turnout there in Maharashtra. Look at that. Again, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, men were 10% higher turnout than women. Now women are more than 5% higher turnout than men in Jharkhand. Pandita, what do you think of, was the women turnout mainly as a result of this Ladki Behan, the 1500 rupees?
Dr. Roy, the women turnout has increased, of course, and it will be a factor, but I'm not sure that one can take the next step to connect it to schemes like Ladki Behan Yojana. I mean, I think it is a little patronizing or maybe condescending to say that women turn out and vote for cash transfers. I think, in fact, in my reporting experience, almost every woman that I met who said that she had got the Ladki Behan Yojana also then followed it up with a question. And she would always ask, 1500 mein kya hota hai? You know, that there is a, you know, the prices have risen of every essential commodity. And in that situation, I don't want this 1500. Give me jobs, give me lower prices. So I'm not sure.
They clearly voted, and it's not condescending. Men also vote for 1,500 rupees. Both men and women. All of us vote. But do you think that made a difference in this?
Huge difference, and we've taken a leaf out of what's known as the Bolsa Familia, the conditional cash transfers that stabilized Lula's regime. You should see the direct relationships that President Lula has made. He knows what is the equivalent of the Anganwadi or Asha workers by name, and they would go and throng.
Very interesting analogy.
And it is, the important part is what Shivam was saying, that a Jharkhand government, which I told you wasn't working very effectively, the whole process of not looking just at targeted transfers and finding who's the below poverty line, but a more universal kind of coverage. Now, the sadder part is that perhaps that many more families are now hankering for state support to stabilize households. And in a state like Jharkhand, where the poverty figures are very, very high.
Without the Lok Sabha results, we know that Maharashtra, the government was facing huge anti-incumbency. What explains this sweep from that anti-incumbency? From
6 months.
From that Gaddar narrative to 3/4 majority? I think the only answer is Ladli Behna Yojana.
Reaching
think
out
that's
to
the one
households.
I think that's the only. Other things matter, but if this scheme was not there, we would be having an MBA government right now. That's my view.
Really, that
But do you get
crucial.
235 seats?
Absolutely.
only
So
on the
that's
back
a
of the
signal
women
now.
vote?
Every election, this will be the key factor.
How did Mamta sweep 2021 when people expected BJP to win? How did Shivraj Singh Chauhan win when people expected him to lose? Not just win, but 2/3, 8%.
You disagree?
No, I don't disagree. In fact, Arvind Subramanian wrote this much-cited piece about this. He called it the new welfareism, where the government abdicates, in a sense, its responsibility to structurally fix issues like health, education, and instead just directly cuts a check, transfers cash, transfers benefits, which are branded in the name of the leader. So you get full political credit for it, unlike health and education, which takes years.
Do you think it's a good thing? It helps.
I think any kind of financial aid to
the poorest,
to the poorest section of India is helpful. So it's not something necessarily which is
This
bad.
is basically universal basic income by another name.
But it shouldn't be a substitute for abdicating, fixing structural health
Universal
education.
basic income, which is what Arvind Subramanian proposed when he was writing the economic survey.
This is UBI by another name. And
that's right.
when you can't create jobs, more than health and education, where are the jobs? And if you can't create jobs, this is what you will do.
And at least this boosts demand. I mean, everybody gains from it. It's a multiplier effect.
Absolutely. At a time when
Rather than tax cuts for
urban
the-
demand is faltering right
India
now.
needs 12 crore jobs a year. Maharashtra, being 1/10 of India, needs about 1 crore jobs a year. Where's it going to get those jobs from?
And nobody, not even the opposition, talks about how they can create jobs, whether they know how to create
that
jobs.
is the point.
It's not there in the narrative.
Just looking at the national impact though for a moment, Manisha Priyam, we're heading into another parliament session, but that apart from the fireworks you may or may not see with the Adani issue as well, what is the long-term impact of this? That whole narrative that the BJP was weakened with the Lok Sabha 240, that's now shifted completely, and they are really now resurgent and re-energized despite losing Jharkhand.
You've got the answer in what you said. I mean, what is the script with which the Congress party, the leader of the opposition is Rahul Gandhi. So Nana Patole can say what he said on the screen, but he has to remember that the Congress party and his leader of the opposition have to open in the House a couple of days from now. What can they go there and say? You know, with this kind of a sweep, I mean, there is just no script. In Jharkhand, for example, Ajay Kumar has lost the election. So in a situation where a district like Dhanbad, which is not a tribal district, can come to the JMM plus, I cannot understand why Jamshedpur cannot be won by somebody who's been so important. So really, it's the Congress that will be on such a bad defensive wicket.
Right.
Its regional allies sitting by its side in the parliament will not be able to defend it.
Quite
so
right.
Therefore,
it's a big change for them.
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of differences and unusual factors about the Maharashtra elections, and Dorab has picked out something called family fights. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, there were certain number of constituencies where the two Shiv Senas fought each other, where the NCPs fought each other, and when there's the big boys, BJP and The Congress fought each other. So we just look at those to see in the family fights what happened. 35 family fights between Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar is 28-7, which is 20% to 80%. So 80% strike rate in the family fight for Sharad Pawar here.
Nobody would have predicted that.
Nobody would have predicted. Certainly not.
Certainly not 6 months ago.
Yeah. Certainly not last week.
You wrote it down.
I think it's there.
Now look at the other one. Same. 3-1, 4-1. Shinde versus Uddhav. 36-12. 36 to Shinde, 12 to Uddhav. It's a sweep. And now let's look at BJP versus Congress. 65 versus 10, which is even worse than the other. It is absolutely the worst. It really is a wipeout. But I'm sorry, let me add just one thing to your margins thing. The margins in Mumbai was 0.6%. There's a Bombay Municipal Corporation election coming on. Shiv Sena is strong there. So I think Mr. Shinde, that adds a little bit to Mr. Shinde's count, because it's really, really tight in Mumbai.
Also, can I point out something very interesting? The term of the outgoing assembly is expiring on Monday.
Yeah, 26th,
So they have no choice but to do a swearing in on Monday, day after tomorrow, which has already been announced. Therefore, we don't have time for a protracted negotiation on who the CM will be. Rajnath Singh has to decide this tomorrow itself. Secondly, I don't know who the CM will be, and I think Devendra Fadnavis has a right to make that claim with these numbers. However, PM Modi has tweeted that with our collective efforts, we've done this. You saw Fadnavis saying Samuhik Prayas. So I don't think even if Fadnavis is CM, they'll have to do it in a way that they do not alienate their two allies and they keep them happy. They wouldn't want to make the opposition benches stronger. Why would they? That's not the nature of this BJP.
2-2-1 perhaps. Everybody has a go.
They could do the deputy CM formula. They could have either of them as one of the, they could have Fadnavis, they could have Shinde and
only one constant fact. Only one constant fact, Deputy CM is Ajit Pawar. Has been for the last so many years, and whatever happens, he may want to be.
I don't think
as a compromise chief minister
would be willing to be.
Most dramatic is Ajit Pawar though. Down in the dumps, he didn't do the Ladki Behna. So he is not the person who's seen as the pro-governance.
Yeah.
So Shinde did something because of which he won.
Yeah.
And the BJP did something. But what did Ajit Pawar do for this turnout?
Ajit Pawar actually rebranded himself with a pink image. If you saw hoardings across Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar had a brand consultant who said, we need to soften your image. You're seen as too angry and ill-tempered. So we've rebranded you completely in pink. It's also because he's the finance minister, so he signs off on the Ladki Behna scheme. No, which is pink being the color of women.
Two things I remember of him.
I take offense
is one, he said
that's the brand management suggestion, not mine.
So Ajit has won because he's been the great unifier. He said cutting doesn't work. Yeah. And second, he says if you're doing this Ladki Behna, what will happen to the state exchequer?
Or is it all Mr. Shinde with long coattails?
Yeah.
What is it? He'll claim it is. Girish, just wanted to ask you about the different kinds of how the BJP is done in different sectors of the society. If we just have a look first at how they're done in scheduled tribe seats. Just look at this. Both Congress and BJP, both the alliances fought 24 each. And the BJP in scheduled tribe seats won 21 out of the 24. That is an 88%. That is the highest strike rate of any area or any group of voters. Now, if we look at the next one, which would be, I think, scheduled castes. How is the BJP done among scheduled castes? 29 seats. They've got a 66%. Still pretty good, 21 out of 29. And even among the scheduled castes, the Congress and its allies, only 8 out of 29. We move on to how did they do rural versus urban. We've always known that BJP is much stronger in urban areas. How have they done this time? Look at this is the rural areas. Out of the 156 seats contested, they won 79%. That's nearly 80% of rural seats. That is most unusual, and it really indicates a massive landslide. Urban areas, again 79%. So talk about a uniform swing and a uniform impact across different sections. It's just huge. What about in Hindu and Muslim seats? Was there any difference? Among Hindu seats, the BJP 79% again. and on Muslim seats, which is high percentage Muslim population.
Not majority Muslim population, but high Muslim
percentage,
population.
yes. 83%. There's often seen this happens as a consolidation of the Hindu vote, polarization. So, Girish, this is a phenomenal across the board massive strike rate.
It is indeed. And except the rural shocker, I am not surprised about SC, because as I told
right.
is back, just ahead of elections, government came out with a notification of sub-classification of SCs and STs. That has worked really in its favor. There is a power supply.
Right.
This sub-classification of SC/ST is very important. The BJP did this in Haryana as well. This has been enabled by a recent Supreme Court judgment which came just a few weeks before the Haryana election, and this is another game changer for ruling parties across
how the BJP and the RSS micromanaged on the ground this whole campaign to consolidate the OBC
the workers'
vote.
machinery to do that.
But to do it in just a short span of 5-6 months.
Right. That
the
is
shift
the key.
was after the Lok Sabha.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of the sort of unseen sort of men of the match of this election is Arun Kumar, who's the organizational general secretary for the BJP. He's an RSS guy. He's the bridge between the BJP and the RSS.
Right.
And the talk in Maharashtra was, watch out for him. He was instrumental in Haryana. He was instrumental in Maharashtra.
So he's chief minister next.
He's the master of puppets.
Just to counter this question, the same thing was happening in Jharkhand. And if you remember Mohan Bhagwat, the first critique of Mr. Modi's statement that there's a direct connection between him and divinity came from Jharkhand, where the Manav se par Manav, Ati Manav of Mohan Bhagwat, that criticism. Then Ashok Bhagat on the ground, a man not discussed much, the Vikas Bharti, etc. Last 4-5 months, pressers being held district by district, Babulal Marandi giving the Ghuspatia numbers. Somehow the RSS, its strongholds in Jharkhand, in the Bihar Assembly, the strongest contingent of the RSS or Jansangh members came always from the Jharkhand area. So this is so
just keeping with
surprising
Jharkhand, let's just look at how the JMM is done again amongst different regions and different rural urban. If you look at Jharkhand, the JMM is meant to be a scheduled tribe, very strong. And how did it do in scheduled caste, where the BJP traditionally has been much stronger? Well, in fact, the JMM has got 50% compared to the BJP's 44% strike rate of the scheduled caste seat. That's a huge improvement for the JMM.
Yeah.
In the scheduled tribe, look at that. 96% out of 28 scheduled tribe seats, the JMM got 127. So it held on, its strength in the tribal areas was retained. Now, what about in terms of rural? 63 seats, very high again, 73%. Last time they won just 1 out of the 18 urban seats. How did the JMM do this time in the urban seats? They always did well in rural, but not that well, of course, as they've done this time. So out of the 18, this time they won 8. Gone up from 1 to 8. The BJP won 17 out of 18 last time. Now they've gone from 17 down to 10. Still much better in urban than rural, but not the sweep that they had last time, which was 17 out of 18 urban. In terms of high Hindu population, JMM did better than the BJP, which is a big difference from earlier as well. And finally, in the high Muslim populated seats, 17 seats, the JMM got 71% of those seats. The strike rate very high. So not that polarized here. So here, the whole infiltrator didn't work that well, and it seems to have done very well across, except urban. They improved, but they were still less than 50%.
Yeah, it's absolutely dramatic, given the fact that the Ghuspatia was the key feature of the campaign and opened at least 4 to 5 months ahead of the elections. District-wise, press conferences were held. Babulal Marandi ji was doing it. Hemant Soren came in at a later point of time.
Bizarre thing. How did they expect that something that is not even true will have resonance?
No, so it did have.
Are you saying this in the post-truth world that we live in?
Are you saying it was a fake narrative?
See, the thing was that it could have potentially, everybody knew that the Congress JMM consolidation would have brought in the tribals and the Muslims together. But what is surprising here is that also the scheduled caste votes have rejected this narrative.
Yes.
And I think that needs to be looked out for.
Very true.
And however much of the urban has come to this also tells you that this narrative didn't really catch the flame that it should have.
To go from 1 seat
It
to
doesn't.
8.
I think it just shows that every state and every election is different. I mean, polarization didn't work in Delhi when AAP swept. It hasn't worked in Jharkhand. It didn't work in Karnataka when the Congress won
And
last
frankly,
time.
in the Lok Sabha election, with every phase, the more polarized, the worse the BJP did. It didn't really work in the Lok Sabha as well.
As I was saying in the morning, this myth that polarization helps BJP wins election need to be broken. The very few elections where you can say polarization actually helped them win. They do more polarization when they know they're losing. So I would think they knew they were losing Jharkhand. They probably saw the surveys and they said, hey, we've got to retain our own voters. So increase the Hindutva pitch.
So one of the really fortunate things we've had throughout this campaign is work with young Sohit, who works and lives in Maharashtra and understands the politics and really analyzes well. Sohit, tell us where we are all wrong and what actually happened and who's going to be chief minister. Simple questions.
Doc, let me tell you that all the WhatsApp groups, especially of the BJP, NCP, Ajit Pawar and Shiv Sena Shinde faction, all have been now sending, profile of the Eknath Shinde, Devendra Prannoy and Ajit Pawar, how many rallies they did, how they were responsible for their party doing well. So in a way, the campaigning is still going on the WhatsApp groups of journalists now. Everyone is trying to create an image of their leaders. So even they are still fighting is what I understand at this moment on who will be the next chief minister of Maharashtra. And it still isn't clear, whereas Devendra Prannoy still expects. He in fact even tweeted that he is still ready to open his wings and fly. So we don't know this was a tweet for JP Nadda or Amit Shah, but this seems to be the indication that Devendra Prannoy wants to take the lead after being demoted. On the other hand, we just heard Nana Patolia also met leaders of different MVA parties. They are not ready to come on camera. But let me tell you, everyone is in disbelief. They are saying that we did not find this on ground. Yes, there was a close contest, but they would be sweeping these many seats. This wouldn't happen. Let me give you 3-4 examples. Like there's this person, Balasaheb Thorat, very senior Congress leader, one from Sangamner seat 8 times, was said to be a no-nonsense guy, would be a probable chief minister if Congress comes to power. He lost by 10,000 votes. Same goes for Yashomati Thakur, another senior Congress leader. Same goes for several different leaders, including Prithviraj Chavan, former Chief Minister of Maharashtra. He lost the election. So there's a disbelief in several of the Congress, Shiv Sena, Uddhav faction, as well as NCP Sharad Pawar faction. In fact, there hasn't been any response by NCP Sharad Pawar faction as of now, whereas Sharad Pawar was focusing on Western Maharashtra. So they're still trying to figure out what is going to happen next. In fact, I also heard leaders talking that they need to take some legal action on what has happened. So there's a disbelief over here. On the other hand, what seems to be working, what the BJP as well as Shinde Shiv Sena faction leaders are saying, that those 7,500 rupees which they have given to women have actually helped them. This is one thing that they have been saying. Number two, the Ek Hai to Safe Hai. They are saying that this wasn't against Muslims. This was to unite the Hindus. Because last time when there was Maratha versus OBC faction during Lok Sabha, it impacted them in Maharashtra. And they said that we wanted the voters not to think themselves as Marathas, OBCs, Brahmins, or Kunbi Marathas. We wanted them to think of themselves as Hindus and vote together. And they say that this has worked, and that's the reason you will see that since morning, Devendra Prannoy has tweeted thrice, and in fact has been saying again and again in his press conference that Prime Minister said Ek hai to safe hai, Prime Minister said Ek hai to safe hai, and this seems to be helping them. On the other hand, Manoj Jarange Patil did not contest the election, did not support anyone in the election, and this also has helped BJP as well as the Mahayuti faction, because the Maratha voters which were consolidated during Lok Sabha elections did not happen. Also, Doc, we were in Vidarbha, and if you look at the Vidarbha results, around 52 to 54 seats out of 62 have been swept by Mahayuti. And even over there, people were saying that whoever wins Vidarbha will win Maharashtra election. So there was a sweep in Vidarbha, and we see a sweep in Maharashtra elections as well.
Right.
Right. Very interesting. Very interesting. And once again, thank you very much for being with us throughout and mainly correcting all Dorab's misinformation and fake narrative.
I wish we had an exit poll be done one, because the men-women thing we don't know actually.
Right.
The exit poll people haven't put out what is the voting for each
I
party
think
by men
Axis-
and women.
I think Axis
Axis has
exit
put
poll
out-
has a certain
that's
sort of
very
Jharkhand
useful.
might be for
This time they
Maharashtra.
got it right. This time they got
I think
it
we're
right.
just running out of time. We just have a quick look at the by-elections and
Oh, हाँ, वो भी हुआ था.
what happened in the by-elections. It's all across the country, and it is quite a telling story. Look at Assam. BJP and the NDA did better, one up. It's 5. It had only 4 last time. Bihar, they've gone. Yeah, they won a huge improvement. There none of these. They won 4. Chhattisgarh, same as before. Gujarat, the Congress has actually gained 1 seat. Karnataka, the Congress has done well. They're in government there. Kerala, same as earlier. Madhya Pradesh, Congress has done better than the BJP there. BJP down 1. But otherwise, BJP generally doing a little better than the Congress. But Congress is winning in some states as well. If you look outside Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Meghalaya, NDA, Punjab, it's mainly Congress and AAP actually, mainly AAP. Rajasthan up 4 from 1 to 5.
Look at UP.
So quite a big, and Sikkim is uncontested. Look at Uttar Pradesh.
That's the story in the
That's
by-election.
a big story of these by-elections. 7 out of 9. That's a gain of 4. They had 3 seats. They more than double that to 7. That's a huge change from the Lok Sabha elections. Uttarakhand, same. West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee has gained 1 more.
So Vasu,
From 5
Yogi
to 6.
Adityanath is safe. That whole fight in UP.
एक है तो safe है.
हाँ, actually.
So I think it's interesting because you have 2 sort of immediate power struggles or 2 questions that the BJP is going to be looking at. One is, of course, immediately deciding what happens in Maharashtra. But the wider implication of today, of a Maharashtra result, where the Prime Minister is not the center of the campaign, and yet you have this huge landslide. You have a more old school BJP campaign, local leaders, RSS, grassroots, points to an interesting,
very important point actually.
Direction about the BJP.
Girish, who was the center? Mr. Shinde, Mr. Gadkari, Mr. Fadnavis, who was the center of the elections in Maharashtra? The center, RSS.
BJP there was no face, no single face.
Right.
But one thing I agree with Vasu. No Modi. That was clear cut.
I see. You saw that on the ground. No Modi
I
in the
saw
pack.
lots and lots of posters of Mr. Fadnavis wearing a traditional headgear in front, and behind him, slightly bigger, but behind him Modi.
Which
So
is most unusually, normally.
which is very interesting sort of posturing.
Which, by the way, was a strategic decision by the BJP. It was
Yeah,
tactical. They felt that this was not an election
We just
where
have-
they needed
yeah.
to make him
Which they
center
are
stage.
regretting.
So we're just getting last comments from everyone now,
Yeah.
starting with you, Vandita Mishra. How do you see this again? The question I asked Manisha Priyam earlier, the national impact of these results today, both for the BJP, the Congress and regional parties now.
So the BJP has, after Haryana, firmed up its grip on a non-bastion state. It's also a pro-incumbency verdict in both Haryana and Maharashtra. And I think this last point about Mr. Modi not being at the center of the campaign also shows that the BJP is deepening its grip on states, even when Modi is not the overarching factor. And I think just that shows how it is actually rearranging the very terms of the contest, shifting the center of gravity, and is not entirely dependent, in a way that is not entirely dependent on the persona of Mr. Modi.
Very interesting.
Smriti Kopikar, your big takeaways in terms of the national impact once again. We have 2 big elections actually coming up in the country next year. Delhi, which is small but has a huge impact in different ways, and of course Bihar later in the year.
I won't go as far as Delhi and Bihar, but nationally, very broadly, I would like to say, add to what Vandita Mishra said. And what has really happened in Maharashtra, at least, is that the RSS has shown who the boss is. And they don't take anything lying down, they don't take anything quietly. There have been literally tens of thousands of meetings held in the last 5 months, door to door, area to area, sabha to sabha, shakha to shakha, and they've stamped their supremacy over Mr. Modi and Shah completely in Maharashtra. That's nationally, that's the big takeaway.
That's
How does that
interesting.
work out
Very
for Mr.
interesting.
Modi?
Yeah.
How does that work out for Mr. Modi and Shah in Delhi, in Bihar? As I said, I'm not going to get there. My immediate concern is, will Maharashtra Assembly have a leader of opposition? And if it does, who will it be? How will that be decided?
Yeah, I think
Because we are
if
the numbers.
party
has the
10%
numbers.
seats, so there'll be
Yeah.
no leader opposition formally.
Imagine. Girish Kuber, you get the last word on the show tonight.
No, what about-
If there was one, we've had comments from everyone. If
want
there was
last
one
words.
piece of advice
I
you
want
had to
last
give
words here
the
also.
opposition,
You can't relax.
what would it be? I mean, maybe we're not
No,
in the
I-
position to
I-
advise, but if there was one big lesson you think that the Congress had to particularly take away from this, what would it be?
I will end with what happened. My conversation with Sharad Pawar a while ago. I called him up, and the obvious question was, "What is next?" It's very interesting to know. The man said, "What is next?" Kal se I'm on the road to rebuild the party.
Wow, look at that. Look at that.
Manisha,
This is what Congress will have to learn.
Yeah.
We're left with more
That's a
thoughts
very
than
strong-
we have answers for. I mean, we have a Maharashtra today where the BJP is the regional party of Maharashtra, notwithstanding all the allegations of being a Gujarati party, etc. The BJP is not only defeated the Congress, literally beaten the Congress up, it's also defeated its own regional allies. So for me to hear today that for 2 municipal corporation elections in urban areas, it will keep on 2 deputy chief ministers, I think there's a far more resurgent BJP with the RSS clearly behind it. I would see it as taking a leaf out there.
What about Jharkhand?
Now, I know that small story is interesting to everybody,
It's not
isn't
small,
it?
it's a big story.
So the
also.
big story of Jharkhand is that the small and the poorest of the world unite to say that polarizing division does not matter.
Amazing.
And somebody who looks very ordinary, they can also, without having the power and narrative, the meta narratives of all kinds of media formations of the world, they can have a campaign amongst themselves. It can be a rights-based campaign, and they have aligned social policies to where the world's poorest live. So I know I hear a lot about the BJP saying good governance, double engine. This tells you that the poorest can script their own social reform policies, and I think that's the big lesson there.
Shivam, which?
I think
last
today
thoughts?
was Women's Day. I think the woman voter has arrived front and center in Indian politics. We are going to have women's reservations. We are going to have cash transfer everywhere. We are going to have politicians coming up with newer ways of impressing the woman voter. Till at least 2029, the big story, I think, is the woman voter.
Very interesting.
All right.
True.
Well, on that note, am I allowed to say? Oh, Vasu,
Right.
would you like a last thought?
So
What about Dorab? I mean, he's the senior Parsi.
No,
But you go first and then Dorab after that.
So I think that, full credit to BJP for the victory, and definitely we can sit and unbundle all the factors, the schemes, etc. But I think there are signs which are concerning for us as a democracy. I think we can't ignore the fact that agency weaponization has played a role. Parties have been broken at large scale. It's not just the Shiv Sena and the NCP. We've forgotten that the Congress was gutted by the BJP in 2019. The leader of the opposition of the Congress, Radhakrishna Vikhe Patil, and his son, en masse with a number of supporters, shifted. He's in the BJP, the big leader from Ahmednagar. His son is an MP. So I think those are also factors which have played a role.
But on the
The communal-
weaponization of
the-
agencies, it didn't work in Jharkhand. So that's also a lesson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that they didn't
Backfired.
try.
Yeah.
It's not that they
They
didn't try.
didn't
So
try,
I'm
but I'm
saying
saying
that,
it backfired.
Did they
that
get
the
a lesson that
playbook,
it can backfire?
but the playbook continues,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We've seen it in Delhi, we've seen it in Maharashtra, and it doesn't seem to stop. The communal card continues to be played. after the Lok Sabha elections, everyone said the BJP was going to dial it down. You've seen vote jihad, you've seen batenge katenge, a terrible campaign in Jharkhand. So I think those things are concerning, especially when you don't have proper contestation. When you look at the Congress and the BJP, it's like you're looking at Real Madrid playing Churchill brothers. With all respect to Churchill Alimao. I was going to say Mohan Bagan, but you would have got upset.
Very upset.
So I think that very unequal contest is something which is worrying.
Very interesting.
I think,
very interesting.
the BJP was down and out after the general election. And people felt that, this party is beatable. But I think now the clock is slowly turning. Yeah. The last 2 elections have shown that, the BJP has strength that was not shown at the Lok Sabha, but that doesn't mean they didn't have the strength. So I think again now they are on the up. They now control the largest and the second largest state in the country.
Yes.
So they've lost something in the south. I mean, in the north, they've got almost the whole belt. And now they've also got Maharashtra.
Right.
So, I think the BJP, if I were a BJP, I would feel rejuvenated with these results.
Right.
Jharkhand is not that good, but,
So who
it's
will
not.
win Delhi? Can you tell us?
How would I know?
Simple. Simple
Join
question,
us on election day. Thank you very much to all our panelists, our guests,
Thank
and
you.
our entire team for this great election day coverage. We leave you now with some of the best moments on the campaign trail that the Decoder team had, speaking to all the big players from Eknath Shinde to Hemant Soren and Kalpana Soren. Do join us again for the next election. See you soon.
आज एक तरफ डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, दूसरी तरफ वेलफेयर स्कीम जो मुख्यमंत्री मेरी लाडली बहना कई योजनाओं को शुरू की, ये हम लोगों को सामने लेके जा रहे हैं। हम क्या किया है और क्या करने वाले, ये हमारा फोकस है। ये सरकार, ये राज्य का डेवलपमेंट और ये विकास का विकेंद्रीकरण, डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन ऑफ डेवलपमेंट।
आतंकवाद, उग्रवाद, घुसपैठी, इट इज ए नेशनल इशू। यहाँ की कोर्ट ने हमें कहा कि आप आइडेंटिफाई करो। हमने कहा कि इट इज नॉट ओनली आवर मैटर, इट इज सेंट्रल मैटर। इमिग्रेशन डिपार्टमेंट, BSF, इनको भी इंक्लूड करो, इनकॉर्पोरेट करो। फिर कोर्ट ने उसको किया। अब कल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने यहाँ हाई कोर्ट के ऑर्डर को स्टे किया है, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को नोटिस किया है। ये लोगों को लगता है बेवकूफ बनाते हैं। ऐसा लगता है कि हेमंता जी ने हमारा सरकार गिराने का सुपारी ले रखा है।
Somewhere, some part of the country, we are facing the problem of terrorism, and particularly some part of the country, there is lot of population that infiltration is there, and because of that, also there are a lot of national problem and social problem. When you have more population, more infiltration, ultimately the people they will come, they are taking the jobs of original people. And that is to be very important, that we should be very cautious about it.
Right now what we are having the first time in Jharkhand, like after becoming, we are about to complete 24 years here, and since more than 18 to 20 years the BJP has governed this state, and the very first time, like being as a what you can say, the one very impressive Yojana, that Maiya Yojana is there, the first time happening in Jharkhand, and I think that is most influential because the 50% population of Jharkhand, they are benefited by this Yojana. And right now what we have to focus more, because especially in Jharkhand, just more women have to come out from their places, and the main necessity is all about our education, our health, and the main focal point should be the entering in the politics.